What's up people, it's Wasabi and I'm back with another review. This mouse that we have today was sent to me by ASUS ROG to share with you guys, but as always with the content on this channel, these are my thoughts, personal opinions and experiences with the product. And today we have the ASUS ROG HARPE ACE Extreme. Now before we get on with the review, here's a quick look at the packaging because that's what you pay for too. First you got the HARPE ACE Extreme. You get an exclusive carrying case and a couple of accessories inside, braided USB-C cable, very nice and bendy, a pulling rate booster for high pulling rates, the wireless receiver adapter, and the wireless receiver itself. You also get a set of glass skates, a set of grip tapes, replacement PTFE skates, 2 alcohol pads and a microfiber cloth, warranty booklet, a quick start guide, and ASUS ROG stickers. And that's pretty much all that's included inside the box. Now before we go any further, let's manage some expectations here real quick. Today we have the second addition to ASUS ROG's collection of extreme peripherals, in which the HARPE ACE gaming mouse is given the extreme treatment, with new materials, upgrades to the features, and commanding a much higher price tag. This ASUS ROG HARPE ACE Extreme is a right-handed symmetrical shape with a weight of 47 grams and is available for a price of about $250. They may have changed it, but it's within that price range. The first thing you will notice, and it's pretty hard to miss, is that they use carbon fiber for the top shell and the mouse buttons for this edition. I find the use of carbon fiber as the main material for any mouse to be interesting, but I can't say that I'm impressed by the use of it here. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it's great for brands to explore more exotic materials in product development, but it looks kinda excessive here and doesn't look like something you will want on your setup for too long. If you compare it to the original HARPE ACE, there is a slight design change to the mouse buttons, and the side buttons had a little design change as well, and they've been repositioned closer to each other, but other than that, everything else is pretty much the same as the original. The look of the scroll wheel, I feel it kinda ruins the whole premium high performance concept of the mouse and looks like an afterthought in the design. The sides and the base of the mouse are plastic and it looks and feels cheap compared to the carbon fiber shell. Now I know it all sounds bad and looks as subjective, but to me when you slap on a premium material like carbon fiber on a cheap plastic, it looks like they ran out of budget to make the product. But you know, maybe to them and some consumers it's impressive work. On a high note, like with most ASUS products, the mouse does feel well put together. The mouse buttons and scroll wheel are tightly fitted in and there's no creaking or flex to the sides or the top side of the mouse. Now before I get into more detail with the shape and how it feels from my experience, to put things into perspective, my hand size is 17.5 by 9. Although I'm not a fan of how this mouse looks, it is quite a decent universal shape that does offer a nice amount of comfort and palm support. The front end of the mouse sits very low. The mouse button grooves feel the most supportive closer to the tip. It is quite a long mouse shape, so smaller hands or any other grip style other than the palm or relaxed claw grip will struggle to reap the full benefits of the comfort grooves. The sides are very flat and give you a lot of freedom to position your fingers, though the side buttons are too much of a stretch. And I can just barely press the front side button unless I hold the mouse at an angle. Its hump picks up quite high in the middle, a little too high for comfort but shouldn't be an issue for larger hand sizes. What bothers me the most is that the hump is not a smooth rounded off shape. The best way I can describe it for now is that it feels like there's a spine sticking up the back of the mouse. It's not excessive, but it doesn't feel as comfortable as most mice that have a rounded off hump down the back. The back end of the mouse does fill up your palm quite nicely though, so you have nice support in that area. Using this mouse does feel planted and stable and very lightweight for its size, but this is a mouse I would not recommend for small hand sizes or gamers who enjoy mice that work well for smaller hands. Now this part is to help people visualize the different grip styles on the HARPE ACE Extreme with reference to my hand size. With my hand size of 17.5 by 9, I mostly use a relaxed claw grip, occasionally a regular claw grip, but for an aggressive claw grip, my fingers are placed too close up to the back of the mouse buttons, and that is where the clicks feel too heavy to use comfortably. Usually for larger mice, I would use a palm grip, but the side buttons feel way too far up for me and I can barely reach them with this grip style. So if you are interested to get this mouse even though you have a small hand size, you can try to make it work with a regular claw grip while holding the mouse at an angle, though that is something that I would not recommend. And finally, a fingertip grip style is not one I would use with a mouse this big. Just keep in mind that your experience may be different based on your hand size. Usually mice made for medium to large hand sizes I can use quite comfortably, but this one in particular feels like it works exclusively for larger hand sizes. The stated weight on the website is 47 47 grams, and on my unit with the skates that it comes with, it weighs in at 47.3 grams. This matte finish on the carbon fiber does give quite a moderate amount of grip in your palm. The funny thing is that the plastic sides that have these grip lines don't feel much grippier than the carbon fiber shell. I would very much recommend to use the set of grip tapes that it comes with, but just on the sides. The grip on the mouse buttons are good enough. The switches in this mouse are ROG's Optical micro switches. The clicks are decent, they sound crisp but feel a lot squishier than what you would expect. Little pre-travel with quite a noticeable amount of post-travel to them, and not the kind of clicks that are optimal for spamming in my opinion. I noticed there is quite an annoying hollow thunk noise that you get sometimes when you lift your finger off the mouse, and it sounds something like this. And on the crispy meter, with the way they sound and feel, I would put them right about here. The side buttons are extremely loud and require quite a good amount of force to actuate and feel super tactile. I gotta mention that the side buttons feel rather small for a mouse this big, and I don't understand why they would put the side buttons closer together compared to the original design which had them spaced apart. This change makes the side buttons a lot less accommodating for different hand sizes and various grip styles, and much more difficult to roll your thumb over the two buttons. Aside from that, there's little to no pre-travel on the side buttons and minimal post-travel to them. The mouse is fitted with a TTC Gold scroll wheel encoder. Scroll wheel is on the stiffer side, the rubber threads give a decent amount of grip. The notches are very distinct without feeling too dry or abrupt with the scrolling, and the scroll clicks need a moderate amount of force to actuate. Nothing fantastic about it, but nothing bad either. The scroll wheel experience is not at all interesting, which for a mouse of this level feels sort of lackluster. You got the ROG Aimpoint Pro optical sensor that goes all the way up to 42,000 dpi. This is the new sensor that was introduced with the launch of the Keris 2 Ace. The sensor works and feels exceptionally responsive, and I've had no trouble using it here or with their other mice. For some reason, my unit doesn't work with the full version of Armoury Crate, but thank goodness they have the lighter version Armoury Crate gear for the HARPE ACE Extreme. It is straightforward and gets right into the settings that you need. 6 programmable controls, left and right mouse clicks, scroll click, scroll up and down, and the 2 side buttons. You can adjust the DPI up to 42,000, and you also got 4 presets to customize. Polling rate selection up to 8,000 Hz with the polling rate booster attached. It also lets you toggle angle snapping and set your mouse angle. The lighting page is pretty much to customize the RGB scroll wheel, though I must say that even on the brightest setting, the RGBs on the mouse look pretty miserable. On the surface calibration page, you can select your sensor optimization for ASUS ROG mousepads, or do a manual calibration if you use something else. You got 2 lift-off distance settings, low and high, and you can adjust your power settings and lighting indicators for battery life status under the power tab. Connectivity-wise, 8,000 Hz wireless with the booster and 8,000 Hz wired with the booster as well. Something I did not notice before on the previous mice, but what perplexes me is that the polling rate booster is not covered by warranty. So it's telling me that if the one thing I need to use high polling rates with this mouse has a problem, it's not covered, and I will never be able to use the one feature that so many brands are upgrading their mice for. You know, it's up to them. We live in a time when there are plenty of options, so thank goodness. Battery life with 2.4 GHz wireless at 1000 Hz polling rate with the RGBs off gets you 70 hours, and 53 hours with the default RGBs on. And for Bluetooth mode, it gives you 98 hours with the RGBs off and 67 with the default RGBs on. The pre-installed PTFE skates feel really nice out of the box with fast and smooth glides. Quality is more than good enough for most gamers, and they even threw in a set of glass skates as well. Not the most popular skate material, but it is a good option for people to try something different if they haven't. Performance and responsiveness have been great, but I can't say the same about stability because there have been a few occasions when the mouse just stopped connecting to the wireless receiver during my gameplay. This is something that I hope has been fixed, because for a mouse of this level, problems like connection is the last thing that should ever happen. But aside from that, the shape of the mouse is a lot more suitable for larger hand sizes. Usually for mice that are advertised for medium to large hand sizes work well for me, but I can't say the same about this one. The size isn't what makes this an unsatisfactory product. If the mouse is large, and I think that's great because gamers with large hands have something fitting to enjoy, it's just that it falls short of many other things. So in conclusion, what are 3 things I like about this mouse? You know, this might be the one time where I don't have anything that I enjoy about the product. Maybe just with how the box opens up with the presentation, but other than that, there's really nothing else. Now, what are 20 things I feel could be improved with this mouse? I'm just kidding, I'm gonna keep it to 3. First is the scroll wheel, and I feel like if they just did a regular black scroll wheel or tried something different with alloy magnesium, it would work a lot better and look more of a premium performance product, which is what this mouse is going for. The second thing is the side buttons, and I have no idea why they changed the design of the side buttons and squeezed them together. They were already small in the original HARPE ACE, and this design change just doesn't make sense and makes it a lot less accessible from my experience. And the last thing is the design. Carbon fiber is cool. There are a couple of mice on the market that use carbon fiber, but here it doesn't work quite well with the design of this mouse. And the combination of cheap looking plastic sides and the scroll wheel doesn't do it justice. I feel like ASUS should relook at the design of their symmetrical mice, especially when there are so many options today. It does come off different with the design, but not in a good way. Now, final thoughts and what I think of its value. Again, my disappointment is not because of the size being more suitable for larger hands, because such a judgment would be very unfair. Many things do not justify the price tag of these products or offer enough value from a big gaming brand to someone who buys it. Now, if you already own any of the previous version of the HARPE ACE, I don't feel like this one is worth checking out because it doesn't offer enough with the experience other than the carbon fiber shell. Tech-wise, it performs great and you got 8K polling rate, and all that is actually very common today. As much as I like ASUS and I want to see them improve to bring better products to gamers, I cannot bring myself to recommend people to buy something like this. In today's market, this launch is not very well done in my opinion. But of course, that's just me and how I feel about it. If you've had the HARPE ACE and it's the perfect shape for you, then this Extreme Edition would be something of more value to you. For an Extreme Edition though, which is supposedly the ultimate premium high performance version of their products, to me this one doesn't do anything to impress or make it worth its price tag. This HARPE ACE Extreme comes off very much as a concept product that would have been more impressive if it were to be released before the standard version of the HARPE ACE. It is unpleasantly surprising because the ASUS Extreme keyboard was ridiculously special compared to this. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful in any way, please leave a like and subscribe to support the channel, and I guess I'll see you in the next one.